Aquarius. This is Lena with Cicalia Botanicals. Welcome to your April 2020 Tarot Horoscope reading. What a crazy time it's been. I'm a fellow Aquarian and I have been super sensitive to all of these energies and needing to quarantine myself from a lot of the madness, if you will. I hope that those of you joining me today can benefit from this reading. It's a very interesting reading, I will say, for us. I did pull the cards already, so we could jump right into the reading. I picked two theme cards this month. One was from the Divine Feminine Oracle deck, and the other was actually a tarot card pulled from the Deviant Moon Tarot. So first we have Freyja, the goddess of discernment. I spend my time wisely. I only say yes when it's a holy hell yes. The interesting thing for me pulling this card is I have been feeling very drawn to Odin, the Norse god, and Odin is actually, his wife is Freyja, the feminine aspect of Odin, a very strong female goddess. So I'm going to read about her in a moment. Very interesting. And then also the Nine of Cups from the Deviant Moon. This is the wish fulfillment card. So these are two really interesting cards to get in this reading and during these times, with everything laid out as is. This is honestly a little bit more of a complex reading. So I do hope you hang here with me as there's a lot of things going on here. Just jump over to the Divine Feminine Oracle card guide. If any of you already have a relationship to Norse gods or Freyja, that card itself will probably have its own meaning for you. There's a particular meaning for me in that being my theme card. Just another pull, of course, also for Odin for me, and if that is a god that you're not acquainted with yet, maybe that is one to explore at this time. So Freyja, the goddess of discernment. I spend my time wisely. I only say yes when it's a holy hell yes. Who she is. Freyja embodies the fierce and finely honed spiritual skill of discerning the most life-giving choice in each moment. In Norse mythology, Freyja is one of the most powerful and important deities. She is the chief of the Valkyries, the demi-goddess who will live and who will die during every battle and war. She chooses who will live and who will die. After being Valkyries, the demi-goddesses become Norns, the great goddesses who weave the fates and histories of people and nations. Freyja rides into battle wearing a magical cloak of falcon feathers and takes half of those fighting. For her Valkyries, she models how to choose. She then rules over her heavenly afterlife called Sesrumnir. She receives half of all those who die in battle, and the other half go to Valhalla, where the god Odin presides. She wears a legendary necklace or torque named Brisingamen, with a powerful jewel that makes her irresistible. It is said to be gleaming and golden. It compels people to her when she calls. When your soul selects her card, discernment is derived from the Greek word diakrisis. It refers to a spiritual power that allows you to distinguish between the spirits that will cause you harm and the spirits that will assist you. It lets us discern when a phone call or an email or a visit from a friend is going to add to our day or if it's going to derail it. Discernment is the difference between feeling led by the day, pulled this way and that, and claiming it. Our time, in this lifetime at least, is limited. Every second is significant. Freyja reminds us of this searing perception we all have, but perhaps don't use frequently enough. She wants us to be discerning with how we choose to spend our time and with whom we choose to love. She wants us to never, ever say yes to anything or anyone from a place of fear or obligation. You are a demigoddess, a Valkyr, a priestess of your own fate. You get to choose the life you want to live, and this happens by being fierce and being warrior-like about what you say yes to. Use discernment so that you are only saying yes to what will actually nourish and renew you, inspire or expand you. It's not your business to worry about those you might disappoint. You were not made to meet everyone's expectations of you. You were made to express the truth of who you are and to use the brief time you have here to live out your potential. Nothing is obligatory except breathing. Your only true obligation is to the voice of your own soul. Frasier wants you to realize the gleaming gold that you are and act accordingly. She wants you to unapologetically choose the life you actually want to be living right now. She wants you to make your yes holy again by only using it when it's the truth. Soul voice meditation. What does a hell yes, the holy yes, feel like in my body? An intention. I spend my time wisely. I only say yes when it's a holy hell yes. So that was a rather fierce theme card for the month of April. I see some decisions being made. I was surprised. I'm a little surprised to see the Two of Swords not come up in this reading, though we do have Two of Pentacles energy here. The Nine of Cups, the wish fulfillment card. So thinking about how do we use our energy and being aware of our thoughts and our words and our actions and how that shapes our life. And this is about getting your dreams fulfilled, living the life, getting what you go after. So if you're only going after what you feel passionately about, you're going to get those things. You're going to live that life. And it's time to press forward with only that energy and the confidence knowing that moving forward with this energy brings this energy. And you have to have blind faith in it. I would recommend looking up some prayers to Frasier, any sort of reading material about her, and any sort of aspect I'm going to look up to place on your altar in reverence to her. So before we jump into the rest of the reading, I'm going to point out a few astrological events that affect us all for the April 2020. So just a few. April 3rd, Venus enters Gemini. So in the midst of all of this craziness, potential still quarantine, really honestly likely still happening, it's probably going to get a little tough. This is around when everyone's going to start feeling rather antsy. Gemini is a very social sign, a very chatty sign, and in Venus, I mean, you're really wanting to get out and see your friends again and go do stuff and explore and play. And you may find yourself being a lot more chatty and reaching out to people, reading more, researching more, learning more, sharing what you're learning, really connecting with people on mental levels, with mental bonds being very important to you at this time. April 7th, we have the full moon in Libra. There will be more of a balancing energy going on. I think this moon will only feel more extreme for those of you that have relationships that are way off balance, that are way, whack in energy. For those of you that aren't too far off center, it'll be a fairly harmonizing period where you're wanting to spend more quality time with your partner, your significant other. There's going to be more of a tendency for compromise, for seeing the bigger picture or other people's needs over your own wants and needs. April 19th, the sun moves into Taurus. So, double-sided energy for for me, my thoughts on this is with what's going on in the world right now. Taurus is a very much homebody type of energy, but also really needs a sense of security in order to feel okay. And so there's this loving being home energy and definitely wanting to nest and to make the home really comfy cozy, get new pillows and curtains and decorate and put on nice music and burn candles, make a really cozy homey vibe in the home, but also really needing to know where is my next paycheck coming from, and some anxiety stemming from that. The other interesting thing is even though there is anxiety over that, there is a potential laziness factor. So if there is some moderate level of something figured out, so the way I see this possibly playing out for some people is, let's say some money was sent out. Okay, sorry, the camera timed out here. So back to the Sun in Taurus energy. You may find a couple of different things going on. So if money potentially being sent out en masse to people, there might be a tendency to become a little bit complacent and lazy instead of continuing to go out there and do the work and manifest more opportunities and income. So be careful of this. I suggest that if it's possible, you put as much away that you can and continue to build upon opportunities and live off of those opportunities until things really do change course. Again, I would say back to normal, but I think we are going to see that a lot of things are quite different in the time to come. However, you will also see this time there'll be a lot of loyal vibes is what I would say. Loyalty to any commitments that have been made, whatever type they might be. Then we have on April 25th, we have Pluto going retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, and it will be in retrograde until October 4th. So Pluto retrograde is shadow work, transformational periods. It is becoming more in tune with intuition. Being that it's in Capricorn, you might see issues arise around the topics of authority, finances, career, power struggles, and whatever area of your life is needing for you to work on right now, that's where the issues will feel the most inflamed, and an opportunity for you to rework that and improve your life moving forward. So Aquarius, looking at your cards here, there is some potential really interesting transformative work in that it is shedding a lot of bullshit. It's not transformative in the way that I think it could be for some of the other signs, where it's becoming evolving, if you will. It isn't like you're devolving. It's quite the opposite. It's more like of a returning to home, if you will, like letting go of some shit you've picked up along this way to learn how to cope or to exist or survive, right? And I see this as a period of time of shedding a lot of that and getting down to the basics of your pure self. That's a lot of work. That's not easy, and so be kind to yourself in these coming months, okay? So April 27th, we have Mercury in Taurus. So for our Aquarian brains that are always moving, thinking, coming up with 12 possibilities before, the person across the room from you has even realized that it is time to start thinking of any possibilities or options, right? This is going to be a little bit of a stickier, more difficult time Potentially, Taurus is very slow to start and slow to process information. So some of your own thinking and communicating might become a little sticky or mucky. You will find that more of your Saturn nature coming out, as you'll be thinking a lot more practically. Even though you're doing this work to pare down to who you are, essentially, it's going to be more, at the end of this month, more along the lines of at least how you're communicating it to others still at this point is from a practical standpoint and not an esoteric, big picture, spiritual type of transformation that you probably feel it is, more so that you're still going to feel the need to bring it down to the practical basics and how this is going to work day to day. How is this transfer? Like there might be some people I see challenging you and some stress around that towards the end of the month too, about what are you doing with this new whatever is brewing for you, and some strife potentially for yourself. It might be a little bit overwhelming, but then it goes away and it transforms into a higher sense of confidence and self-worth. So going to your actual reading. Beautiful energy and where you stand is the Ten of Cups. So finding your soulmate or your soul purpose or your probably one of those two, feeling grounded in that, or both of those would be great. What is right behind you, we have the Fool. So you have begun something totally new. So this transformation is not completely unknown or foreign to you. It's probably begun even before March. Within the last 6 months, though, for sure. What is crossing you, the world. So you're not really sure. The world is crossing all of us right now, honestly. Like, what is going on in this world right now? And what do I make of it? And how do I make my next steps? Like, I know who I am, but what the fuck is going on? Like, what am I to do with this? So I think last month we spoke of patience, and I think that's going to be paramount here, although your advice card is actually the Star, which is Aquarius. It's you. Be you. Be genuinely you. Come from the heart in everything that you do. That is going to be important this month and moving forward. What you have in your subconscious, though, is the Moon, which if a card represented the subconscious, it would be the Moon. So you're hiding some stuff from even yourself. I'm going to guess it's fears. Some fears of the unknown, and thinking also about how there is so much you don't know around you. I see this as tying you up and putting you in a holding pattern right now that's consistent with much of the energies around you. But what is on your mind? The Ten of Pentacles. This is the card of, the happy family home, of abundant wealth, of, just material blessings all around, of health. I think what I think of when I think of the blessings that I like to think of for myself, my family, and that I give out oftentimes at the end of my videos here, of health, wealth, and happiness. Like, this is the ultimate. Through thinking, how do I get here and live here and be here, thrive here, stay here forever, right? So that's on your thought a lot, and your thoughts a lot, and I think that this world crossing, okay, versus your advice, these are both very potent cards, right? Just be yourself. You're not sure how to handle the world, just be you. That's all you can do, right? But have confidence in you, and you will move forward. I see with Knight of Wands energy. That's very passionate energy. That's a lot of creativity. It is a lot of moving forward without entirely thinking some shit through, right? Can get yourself possibly in some trouble, but that energy is a great energy to start anything, a big endeavor of importance that takes a lot of work to get off the ground. In your environment, what you can't control. Two of Pentacles. So you're going to be balancing some things, modern life, right? But I also see that as actually the universe balancing some things for you. So, right, because when you think about it, the Two of Pentacles energy is about, typically, when not in this position, is about you balancing things, right? Work and a side hustle and family, and usually though it's a couple of like major things, 2 jobs, right? But in this I see it as the universe is doing a lot of the juggling for you. So there's 2 things that, because of the transition that you are progressing towards, that realize that yes, you should say only yes to those things that are a hell yes, but that there are other things that need to be handled that you might feel overwhelmed by. Don't ignore them, but don't get into a negative thought process, and allow space for things to be taken care of, if that makes sense. Patience is part of that. Intuition is part of that. And allowing the universe to handle some things for you sometimes is the way to balance things. And I know not everyone believes that. I'm a person that believes that it is very important to be practical and to not be very passive in life, but I'm also very spiritual and do believe that spirit and the universe do take care of a great deal of things for us. It's having that discernment, right, to know what is our responsibility and what spirit is taking responsibility for. What I have in your hopes and fears, your hopes, the King of Cups. So looking for that brings you ultimate bliss, joy, a feeling of, could also be your partner or a complete union with loving, affectionate, supportive person, which though seeing your 10 of Cups is you have. So maybe that this person continues on this path with you or stays by your side or is still supportive of you. But I also see it in and of as yourself, as being able to provide the happiness that you dream of for yourself completely and entirely in the way in which you know that you deserve. Now your final outcome card was confusing to me, in that I see it as it's a little bit complex. Okay, right. So Aquarius has a tendency to think a great deal. So the 10 of Swords popped up. One of my least favorite cards. I like this card less than I do the Devil or Death, actually, because I don't really mind those cards. It's probably on par with the Tower. Tower has been a rough card for me in my life personally. And this card too, except for this card is has a lot more of a I have control over it, right? The 10 of Swords is severe anxiety. I mean, like overthinking everything and stressing about everything and like putting yourself through it. Like literally, like you are putting yourself through it. Okay, you are over analyzing and thinking everything, probably keeping 90% of it to yourself, right, Aquarius? And that's all good and well, But I was like, this can't be, like, looking at your reading and what your theme is, like, how was this that how we end the month? And it didn't seem right. So I pulled a verifying card from 2 different decks. Once again, the Shadowscapes deck and the Deviant Moon. And I got Knight of Cups, which is interesting because that parallels here with that King of Cups energy, and Queen of Pentacles. So that I see in terms of, we've got this Knight of Wands energy and the Knight of Cups energy. So moving towards your heart's desire, with a lot of very emotive energy, but also this Queen of Pentacles energy is very grounded and very nurturing and very self-sufficient, very giving, very abundant, very prolific. So looking at those cards together, I do see the need to be very aware of your thoughts this month, Aquarius. Take responsibility for how those thoughts shape your world. And if you can, use those anxieties, right, as not from fear, but as a pushing force to push you into action, to follow that which you know your heart wants and what will give you the nurturing, solid foundation you need and deserve. And I see that when you follow the advice of only pursuing that which you are completely excited about and being your own weird ass self and letting go of the need to explain yourself, to be accepted or understood by others, you will thrive. And eventually those that matter that maybe didn't get it at first will come around. They will, and they'll get it. But your path is a weird one, so it makes sense that they won't understand, you know? So go easy on them too. It's an interesting month, and I don't see, it's weird because I see at the same time, it's like all your dreams come true, right? But then you're stressed. Like, why are you stressed? And I think that the fear of success is a real thing, right? And it's such a complete and utter transformation that you have to completely relearn how to be. And that is a stressful thing. Comfort is nice, but in these times right now, a lot of people will be, for the better, changing. It's a big reset button, and we can see it that way, and do our best to survive and help those around us while improving in ways that are much needed on the whole. So I look forward to seeing how April turns out for us, Aquarius. I'm very hopeful, and I hope that y'all have the strength to stay true to you and to keep doing the work and to push forward through those tough days. You know, it's still life. Those are going to exist. And work on those thought patterns, those things you tell yourself all the time that you're not even always aware of. Rewrite what is obsessively circulating through your mind on the day-to-day. All right, loves? Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next month.